The Verbally Effective Podcast is on location. Can you believe it? For the first time on a one-on-one interview with none other than AlivePaint artist Jamond Bullock.
What's up? I'm Jamond Bullock, also known as AlivePaint. This is a great experience, a great opportunity to share what I do with people who may not even know who I am and what I do. So definitely happy to be here, and I hope you're happy to join us.
It's like I said, our very first one-on-one interview. I'm so glad that you mentioned to my producer Wendy Sanaa that you wanted to be on location with your artwork. Mm-hmm. So let's start about you, Jamond, before we kind of go full throttle into your pieces. Tell me about what part of Memphis you're from.
Man, I grew up in Frazier.
Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up in Frazier, and that's where my roots are. Went to all the elementary schools there, just about. Went to Corning, Frazier Elementary, Delano Elementary. I didn't end up going to Frazier High School, but my sister went to Frazier High School. Me and my brother, we ended up coming out of Craigmont, which is not too far away.
Okay, Craigmont.
So I grew up in that area, and man, it's definitely changed.
Yes, it has.
Definitely changed. I'm actually getting ready to do a project in Frazier through the Mural Arts program of Philadelphia. So just awarded a grant to do something in the neighborhood I grew up in.
And that's awesome when you can do that.
Life is full circle for real right now.
So are you from a big family?
Man, I got 3 siblings. Well, there's 3 of us. Mm-hmm. So I'm the youngest. I got my brother John, and then my sister Erica.
Okay.
So, I got something about
You good, Jamond.
Like, man, what is going on right now?
You good, Jamond.
Maybe I should have got a water.
Okay. You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so you graduated from Craigmont. Where did your love for art start?
It started when I was in elementary school. I was that kid that was beating on the table in class and definitely drawing on all my classwork.
Okay, you were doodling.
Yeah, like doodling.
Mr. Doodle.
And my brother, he's an artist too. So, one of those things where, he was basically like one of my first art teachers.
Your brother.
Yeah, so he was just like, Jamond, this is how you do this. But, it's just one of those things where it took me. It was the subject where I would get A's in, you know. So I wasn't the best student, but in art, I was at the top in class in that bad boy. So, and it took me to college, and when I got out of college, I was just like, man, what am I gonna do? I spent my entire college time making beats.
Wow.
And I'm painting at the same time, but I was, making beats at home, but painting for class. And then I got a couple commissions, like my senior year. And I was just like, man, I should pay one of my bills with that.
Exactly.
So it happened a couple times, and I was like, man, this is paying me more than my job at FedEx is doing.
This is while you were a senior at College.
Yeah. I was like, how did I just make this amount of money? So I didn't have like this spreadsheet of how I'm gonna get paid. I just threw a number out there, and then once it sold for that number, I was like, I guess it's when prices are starting. So that's for anybody that's a listener out there that's an up and coming artist. Ask for what you want.
Right.
So eventually somebody will pay you for what you want.
Wow. So do you think when you were in college, when you got those commissions, that's when you really say, hey, I can do this full time. This is what I'm gonna do?
Well, when I was in college, I didn't have it frequent enough for it to be full time. I wanted it to be full time, but it would be, you know, months and months apart to the next project. But the more I painted, it was like a domino effect. More people saw it. You know, the consistency of me putting out my work around. They're like, oh, I saw your work in the FedEx form. I knew it was your work when I saw it, honestly, before I looked at the name. You know, so that started happening. So,
How would you describe your work? Like, how could that person tell? Is it the realism? How would you describe it?
It's one of those, it's kind of weird because my work is going through all these different phases now. It's kind of like realism, that's all it was. Realism, pencil, and
actually like drawing what something looks like. That's realism.
Yeah, so drawing it to make it look like life. But then eventually I got into this stage of, you know, not really caring what people thought about my work. And I was just like, you know, I just want to play around with it. So I started getting looser. My pieces started kind of looking like sketches, but just experimenting some stuff. I did this one painting, I think it was called Mother's Day. And it was like this piece of this one of my classmates that was pregnant. And the painting was done real loosely and it was real colorful. So I used like pink, brown, orange, yellow. It was very warm. And I want to say...
Like that nurture feel.
Mm-hmm. So it was kind of like, it looked like the sun was just sitting on her. So like after doing that piece, I kind of like tried to do something in that same style. And Mr. Dawson was just like, you on to something. So he was just like, just keep doing what you're doing. So it's really just all about exploring, really. You know.
So how did you get into like the live painting? How did that start? Did you create that?
No, I didn't. I met this guy. His name's David Garibaldi. I met him when I was teaching at MIFA, teaching like art classes at MIFA. I met the guy, David Garibaldi. He was doing like a demonstration during Elvis week. And so I think my art class that I was teaching was displaying work at the Elvis week. So I seen him doing a speed painting demo. This guy, he's really, really cool. He ended up becoming my mentor anyways, but he seen some of my work and was just like, hey, you can do what I do. Fast forward to, you know, a year later, I end up meeting my homeboy Darius Fat Mac Clayton, and he was just like, man, I like your artwork. I would really like to see you, you know, do something live at the poetry sets. And I was just like, okay, I can do something. And he ended up asking me to do caricatures though. And if you've seen my work, I don't really necessarily do caricatures. So, you know, I ended up meeting him and I ended up painting a portrait, and it just became like a domino effect after that.
You have to like get your timing down when you do something like a live painting, like from the beginning of the production to the end.
It's one of those things where, you know, I've been doing it for a while, so I can make pieces up now. But that first time painting live, I honestly had a portrait already there. The head was there, I just kind of like finished the body and the background, you know.
What is your favorite type of art?
Favorite type?
Because I know you kind of told me when you started, it was more realism, right?
Yeah, so, I don't know. It was realism. And now, right now, it's mural making. So, mural making, like I do a lot of community-based pieces. I meet with community members. I find out, you know, what the history is of this area, and you know, I try to illustrate this story that the community members have shared with me. And I try to get that to be this narrative that can hold up the test of time of like a 20 years.
Right.
You know, so these murals that you see around town, most of them last, you know, 40 for a lifetime, I guess.
Really? Decades.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where you're leaving your mark. You know, the average person can't go into the gallery because they may not know where it is. But if you put something right in the neighborhood, you know, you can spread love and share your gift with people that don't even know who you are.
Right. And you've been doing a lot of stuff in the community, even with the kids. Tell me about the most recent project you did with the kids.
Okay, so I did a project with the Grizzlies. Man, that was an interesting project. Shout out to the Grizzlies. You know.
Go Grizzlies.
But yeah, that was a project that I did in Chandler Park, and that project was it was pretty interesting. Where I sketched out this design. It was maybe about 90 to 100 feet wide, and the kids came in and basically filled it in. But initially, it was supposed to be like 30 kids.
And it ended up being how many?
And it was about 150 kids at once. And I was just like, okay, we just gonna have to break y'all up in groups. I was like, man, here, it's time for me to put on my teacher hat, because I used to be an art teacher. So this was one of those things where I was like, well, I just need to make sure they don't know that I'm about to have an anxiety attack.
Oh, wow. All the kids. How old were they?
It was just all ages. It was high school.
Ages. Okay.
It was kindergartners out there.
You was
Without
like,
their parents. You know what I mean? I was just like,
oh my.
it's like where y'all parents at? You like 4 years old, you know? But ready to paint.
Right.
But yeah, I got photos of that stuff too. It was just cool. It's just one of those things though, you know, I was one of those kids.
Right.
One of them kids that probably didn't, like I didn't touch a paintbrush until I was 14?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So like some of those kids, that was probably their first experience with art. And I was just like, man, you gotta cool out. I can't mess this up for them. You know what I mean? Because this is their opportunity. They may not get an opportunity like this again. So it was real cool. You know, it was definitely one of those projects where, you know, building a relationship with the community and with the Grizzlies. So the Grizzly players were out there and all that. So they even painted on the wall. It's pretty cool. All right, so this is an interactive mural, so which means the people that were guests of our art show of Young, Gifted, and Dope, they got to participate in a mural, which is, you know, artwork that's installed on the wall. So they basically, you know, wrote in their own way the words Young, Gifted, and Dope. And of course, some people, you know, the Flamaholics, you gotta love them. They did what they wanted to do, but it's all love, and it was just a way of bringing people together. You know, so that's what we got.
Looks good.
It ended up being like the perfect photo op wall.
Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of people in front of that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I think it's my profile.
Yes, it is. Okay, what do we have here?
So this piece right here is called Broken Beauty. It's about, you know, it's somewhat self-explanatory, but my work is really about the human experience. Mm-hmm. That's part of this collection I'm working on called The Master of Color. Mm-hmm. And what I want to do is, I want to do work that, for one, it speaks to you as a human, but then it speaks to you about maybe something that have happened to you in the past or present. So, yeah, this piece is one of those things where, you know, of course we've all been broken and put back together like a puzzle.
Yes, we have.
And it happens like all the time where, you know, you're kind of always trying to fix yourself back together. Mm-hmm. Whether it's your clothes, your mind, or your heart, you know, so.
We're a constant work in progress.
Definitely. Definitely.
Do we have anything similar to Art Basel, like on a Memphis level? Are you gonna start something if we don't?
It's called Young, Gifted, and Dope.
So Young, Gifted, and Dope. So this is like, so this is the first year of Young, Gifted, and Dope, though, right?
No, this is actually episode 2.
Okay, episode.
So this is episode 2 of Young, Gifted, and Dope. So last year we partnered with the concert, you know. So it's one of those things where it's like a weekend type of thing where people are coming in town for Thanksgiving, right? So they get to go to an art opening, and then the next day, concert. Right. You know, so it's just connected to it, and then we're trying to do some stuff where it may be like a comedy set,
Okay.
one day as well. So,
All of the
this
art.
is somewhat of, on a smaller scale.
Memphis Basel.
Yeah, but yeah, you got the River Arts Fest. I was a part of that. Cooper Young Festival. You got Soulsville Festival that's going on.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of good stuff going on in Memphis. Right now it's a good time to be an artist here,
Yeah.
or creative.
Yeah.
So
And you stay busy.
you gotta stay busy. It's a lifestyle.
Has it always been like that?
No.
When did it really start getting busy for you?
When I quit my job. Well, so it was 1 year when I was teaching, and I was doing a project for State Farm, and I had to do like 25 portraits of all these people, right? At first it was supposed to just been 10, and the guy who was doing this conference, it was like everyone that gets an award, they're gonna get a portrait of themselves. So that ended up being one of those things where he just kept adding a person, which was cool with me because I'm getting paid. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I got to do this for school. I got to do, the stuff for my students, prep their stuff, and then I can go to my studio. And I was just running out of time, and I was just like, man, I need a clone. I started posting it on Facebook. I'm like, man, if I had a clone right now, and I just started realizing, I was like, man, I don't know how long I can keep doing this. So it was crazy because the day that I had all the pieces to be complete, I was at my studio painting. Like, I didn't go to sleep. I'm in my studio, and it was early in the morning. I'm like, okay, I'm finished with these pieces right here. I called the guy who hired me to do the work, and he was just like, yeah, man, you ready for the pieces? You gonna drop them off this morning, right? He was like, you gonna drop them off at 8? I was like, I thought you said 8 in the evening.
Dang. Oh, that worked.
I was just like, pieces still wet. He was like, well, I need 4 of them because the people that are getting their awards, they are leaving immediately after they present. Immediately. And I was just like, wow, this just happened to me. This just happened to me. I was just like, I can't tell him on the phone that these pieces are wet. They're not ready, He was like, I need them now, And I couldn't tell him, like, I couldn't blow dry these in time if I wanted to.
Right. What did you do?
So what I did was put the pieces in the car. I put those 4 in the car that he needed immediately, and called my principal. And I was like, if she see this, she gonna be tripping. So I called her. I was just like, Miss Sanders, I just woke up. I just woke up. Now, mind you, I haven't been asleep. I was just like, I just woke up. I woke up late. I think I'm not. I might have to call a sub. And I was like, but I'm gonna try to make it if I can. And she was like, okay, just let me know. What's really going on. I hope you feel better. You sleeping in this late, something must be wrong. And I was like, okay. So I called her to cover myself. Drove up to the Hilton Hotel, and I called the guy that I was supposed to be meeting to drop off the pieces. And he was like, you're gonna meet with so-and-so, because I'm gonna be on the mic. So I met with this lady, and she was like, oh yeah, bring the pieces up to the hotel room. Brought them up to the hotel room. She was like, baby, those pieces still wet. And the craziest part, it was one of those scenarios where it was God in this situation, definitely. She was like, well, I got a blow dryer in my room.
She wasn't tripping.
Yeah, she was just like, I got a blow dryer right here, and here's my card. I want to get you to paint some portraits for, you know what I mean?
Look at God.
And she helped me blow dry the pieces. It was just one of those things where, I kind of felt like, I was like, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, if it wasn't, it would have, like, it was so many opportunities for it to fall apart. Yeah, so I met with my principal, like, later on, and she was like, Mr. B, what's going on? That's what they used to call me, Mr. B. And I was just like, she was just like, I see you real busy nowadays. Like it feel like it's affecting your teaching. Like you teaching well, but like you coming in late sometimes, or you're calling in. And I was like, no, I'm good, you know. And like later on that year, I got a project, you know. It's kind of crazy because I got awarded this project that was basically going to be like a salary, right? And then the thing that happened was I ended up working on the design for this project all night, and then, you know, it's basically handed to me, and I was just like, how am I gonna go back to school teaching? How can I teach and do this project? Kind of like the State Farm situation where I was just trying to do both. It's like, there's no way I can teach and do this. So I was like, I called my principal. I was like, I don't know if I can teach full time. I was like, is there any way I can work part time? She was like, well, you can be a part time sub. Well, you can be a full time sub. But I don't know if you can work in just 3 days. Call the art department with Shelby County Schools and see if this is something you can do. I sent the email to the person who was like the director over the art department at the time. And he was like, man, we don't have any part-time positions.
So you had to make that decision.
And I talked to my wife, and she was just
What'd
like,
she say?
she was like, so what you finna do?
I'm like, what this money gonna look like? What this money gonna look like?
She was just like, Jamond, I thought we were talking about how you're gonna do a plan for this, you know? And I was like, well, I kind of got a plan. And I was like, I'm about to do a project that's gonna pay me a salary. And she was like, well, what about after that? So, you know, she very wise and, you know, mature. We had a mature conversation, talked about the plan, and I was like, look at all these people that are inboxing me about projects. I was like, it's gonna pay me more than I make. So I ended up leaving my job. It was so weird, you know, but I had to be proactive and busy. I had to consistently stay busy. So it was one of those things where, man, I missed my students. The faculty at the school was real cool. I taught at Carnes. So real cool faculty. The kids were good. I taught at some schools where you like, man, I hate being here. But definitely one of those situations where I didn't know I was leaving.
Wow.
I didn't know. And what's crazy was the project that I was promised fell through.
What?
They were like, yeah, so the people that were gonna do this project, you know, they're not gonna pay their half of the bargain. And
After you quit, what happened? You had some other project.
God came in.
Okay.
So what ended up happening was this project that I didn't think I was gonna get, I got.
Okay.
And then, you know, Teach for America reached out. I took a picture of a blank wall, and Teach for America reached out and were like, hey, are you about to do that mural there? We need you to do 6 murals in our office in Crosstown. That was like, we need 6 murals. Met up with the director, and she was like, I don't even need a sketch. I seen your work. Just do whatever you think fits our brand. And she was just like, here's some quotes that we want along the lines of the walls. And yeah.
So what year was that you made that decision? To
So that
start
was
teaching?
2016.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had been painting live since
For a
2008.
while. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Painting live, doing some murals, but then like it started elevating. When I left my job, that's when God just opened up all these windows and doors for me. Yeah. So
Just been busy ever since.
yeah, like right after that, I got the Soulsville residency I did in Memphis Rocks. I did a Tears 1. It was just called Tears last year. And I was inspired to do a part 2 of it. So this is more on a larger scale. It's about their journey. So these two pieces, they go together.
That's what I was wondering, did that, because the colors are similar.
Yeah, so right here, it's kind of like a road that takes you on this path.
Oh, I see.
And so these objects floating could symbolize people.
Okay.
And their brokenness. So Anthony, man, what's good?
Tears.
Anthony Lee, really well-known artist. Murals.
I'm Ina.
I'm at the end.
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you, bro.
All right, man. Thanks for cutting on the lights too.
Ain't no problem.
Jamond's a nice artist. But yeah, this piece, actually, like this part at the bottom represents me and my wife and my son. So this is me, my wife and my son. So my son is 5.
On y'all journey.
Yeah, so just on our path.
Okay.
So I try to create pieces that take you to another place. And not necessarily Memphis, but just a different space. Yeah,
Make me think about my childhood or
so, yeah.
where else. I like
When you
that.
think about tears, a lot of times we don't know what's going on with people.
That's true.
You know, with our loved ones, we share our tears with. You know, so that's one of those things that's why I put my love on this in the piece.
How much do you have any like maybe grizzly players or high profile people that purchase your pieces?
Well,
Whoa.
Fred Smith, no, I was just joking. I want to say I just did a project with T.I. for the Trap Music Museum. So, Trap Music Museum, they just hired me to do a project to paint live at their grand opening. So, right now, T.I. has one of my pieces in his
Wow.
possession.
What does it
You
look
know?
like?
Oh, it's an interesting piece. They actually hired me to paint just like a trap rapper, but they was just like, paint somebody. They didn't know who they wanted, so I just made up something, and it was just one of those things where it was a spontaneous moment. Cause I was like, T.I., you don't want me to paint you? I can paint you, man. I was like, perfect time to get.
Image?
Yeah, I was like, this is the perfect time for me to get a picture of T.I. next to his painting that I did of him. He was like, nah, man, you know, this my event. I'm putting this on, but you know, I really want this to be about everybody else. And I was like, I got you. So it was like, I got you, man. That's cool. So, but yeah, it was definitely an experience. I've done some projects with Service Master. I just did like a 30-foot mural with them. It's called We Are Equals. It's a really cool piece. It's in between, what is it, 117 Barbo Alley. So it's a mural in an alley. It's 30 feet tall. It's right behind Aldo's Pizza
Okay.
and Bell Tavern.
30 feet tall.
Another client I would say, I'm trying to think, high profile client.
A movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I just did something for a movie. It's I can't tell y'all what I did, but no, I can kind of describe it. But they had a mural that they wanted done in a restaurant scene, and they hired me to paint a mural, but they couldn't paint on the wall.
Wow.
So it's kind of interesting. They were like, well, we don't really have 24-hour access to the space. So could you just, I was like, the wall's 20 feet wide. Could you get us a 20-foot canvas? I was like, yeah, sure. So I got an 18-foot canvas, and it was 6 feet tall. So I was supposed to do this large piece on it. And they was just like, hey, you know, they reached out to me, what was it, November 18th or the 20th. They reached out to me. Yeah, so they reached out to me on like that Wednesday. That was just like, we're getting everything together, you know. You can paint this, and they were like, you know, do you know what you want to paint? I was like, here's some images of what I could do. Here's the price for that, and you know, here's something on a smaller scale. And they were like, oh, perfect. And they were like, we're just waiting to start. So I learned this term, hurry up and wait. It's a term they use where they ask you to do something like in a short turnaround, then they tell you to wait, right? So they reached out to me that Wednesday. I didn't start till Saturday night when they told me to go. And they was just like, instead of doing that giant roll, they were like, you know, how long is this gonna take? And I was like, well, it'd be easier if I did large canvases and we just put them together like one piece. It'd be easier to hang them. So that's what we ended up doing. So I did these large canvas pieces and they hung them side by side. I painted them all as one in my studio. But yeah, so I delivered the pieces. They were ready. That Tuesday morning, they picked the stuff up in this truck, and it was crazy. So I met the director, the creator of the movie, Prentice Penny, really cool guy. It's crazy. So I was in the room just walking around, and the guy, Mama Dude, he's a well-known actor. She just walked up to me and was just like, oh, is this for the scene? Did you do these? And we just chopped it up for a while. Next thing you know, Courtney Vance walked up to me.
What?
And I was just like, man.
Awesome.
I was like, if y'all don't know who Courtney Vance is,
I know who Courtney Vance is.
you know, look him up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a heavy hitter too. So, and Prentice Penny as well. So those people were like leading the scene.
Okay.
Can't tell you what the scene was about.
I see you keep saying that. When can we know about the movie?
The movie is coming out on Netflix sometime soon, and
Okay.
it's a featured Netflix production. And you know, the people were real cool. They were just, you know, very down to earth. They were just like, hey man, when you coming back? I was like, man, honestly, I got more projects to work on. But
how did they reach out to you to get involved with the film?
word of mouth. It was crazy because I just got this random text and then a message on Facebook and then a call from this guy named Richard. So Rich, he does barbecue. He used to do a lot of barbecue for High Tone. And I'm not familiar where he's working at now with his barbecue, but he's just all around town with it. So they used him for a scene with him and his smoker, right? And then they end up hiring him a year later. So they did some filming here like a year or two ago. And then they hired him to do some stuff with the art department. The art department in the movie world, they're the ones who stage every room, right? So they can transition a room to look, and I seen it the day that I went on set. They had one room, it looked just like a kitchen in a restaurant. Within hours, their room was a I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this or not. It was a hooker lounge. You know what I mean? So I was just like, wow, this is crazy how they're doing this. You know what I mean? So just one of those things to see how these people work, and Rich is working with them. You know, so I want to say, to answer your question, he referred them to me when he found out they were looking for an artist to do some artwork for the scene, and he was like, Jamond, perfect person.
And before we come to a close on the podcast, how can everybody get in touch with you or see your work?
Man, my phone number 555. No, definitely shoot me an email, AlivePaint84@gmail.com, or go to my Instagram, AlivePaint, AlivePaint. Facebook, AlivePaint. I got 2 Facebook pages, but I just reached my maximum. Yeah,
oh, you big time. You reached that max.
I was like, how do I know 5,000 people? I don't know 5,000 people. But, you know, like, you still can message me, but I can't add people. I'm like deleting people just to add people on Facebook. But, so definitely shoot me an email. on my Facebook, Jamond Bullock, JAMOND, But if you don't get me there, go to my other page, my like page, AlivePaint, Facebook or Instagram.
Well, cool. Thank you so much for being my first one-on-one
Oh yeah,
on
no problem.
location.
Had to. You know, we both went to Lemoyne.
Yes,
you know,
Magicians LLC. And I'm so proud of you, Jamond.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, I have really been watching you over the years, and
Okay.
I mean, I would have thought you did art full-time a long time ago.
Man,
That's how
it's a
smooth
hustle.
you was.
It's a hustle. You know, it's definitely one of those things where, like, when you go to school for art, like your professor, they allow you to learn these different techniques and tools, but they don't really train you in the business side of it. You know, so it's one of those things that you kind of have to learn as you go. So for me, painting live and doing murals transitioned me into like the business side of it. But I feel like the teaching element actually allowed me to be able to work with communities. So I was able to, you know, form these workshops that I do, and it's almost like a classroom setting where we sharing stories.
Everything that you've done has prepared you for now.
It definitely did. I think it was my season.
Yeah.
You know, it was definitely my season to gear up for what I'm doing.
Well, congratulations, Jamond. And me and the Verbally Effective crew, we're gonna come to your merch day.
Okay, please do.
Merch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, pull up.
Yes, thank you so much, Jamond Bullock, AlivePaint, Verbally Effective on location.
Yeah, I decided to do something from scratch, and it was successful. And I was like, damn, I completed a piece, you know, from scratch in like an hour. Right. So after that, I was like, I wonder if I can do two. So the next one I did two. Like I did one that was like a 30-inch by 40-inch canvas, which is, you know, if you think about a 30-inch TV screen.
Yes.
And then the other one I did like a 50-inch canvas, basically. So I think after doing that, I was just like, I want to figure out how to speed paint.
You've been